Hello, I'm Ed.
I'm not.
This is the DC Corner with Will. And this is the last week, well, before Convergence gets into full swing. There is a Convergence issue out. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Finally.
But because it was the final week before the Convergence event, most of the books here were either wrapping up storylines or doing some transitional material.
Or just nothing.
Yeah, because really, there's nothing you can set up now that you can't come back to until June, because we're going through April and May with all the Convergence books and all the Convergence tie-ins.
It's going to be a rough couple months, everybody.
Yeah, so we'll see what comes out of it. But at any rate...
All of the two people that are watching.
Well, we got to take care of both of them.
Yeah.
Anyhow...
They're us.
There you go. What we're going to talk about here, though, are a couple of books that came out this past week. One of them was the Gotham Academy one-shot. It was a tie-in to Joker's Endgame, a very...
Loose tie-in.
Very loose tie-in.
It barely had anything to do with Gotham Academy. It didn't have anything to do with Endgame. It was just... They were in a tent and telling scary stories. And
that's sort of the premise here. Their tie-in to Endgame was just that Joker's loose, Batman's after him, and we're going to stay protected here in these tents and tell each other spooky stories. So it was sort of an anthology of spooky stories.
And it was nice if you take it on its own. It's sort of like the Silent Hill Homecoming dilemma. On its own, it's actually pretty good. But when you have to take it as part of a extended series that has its own storyline and arcs, it falls short of the mark.
So, a good story as far as it goes, but you don't need it to understand Gotham Academy's continuity.
And you don't really need it at all.
You don't need it for Endgame either. It's sort of a... Now, I'm a sucker for anthology titles, so in that respect,
and like I said,
it.
If you take it on its own, it's pretty good. But there's the fact that with production costs, with all that's going on, I felt like this was a wasted issue. And even though I liked it, I felt like it was just
good talent, good art, good script. But it's a book that if you're short of money, you could probably skip and save some money for other
And honestly,
books.
It felt like even if it was written well, even if it was drawn well, it makes me feel even worse that all this talent was just sort of like running in place.
They had to have a tie-in, so they gave us a tie-in. It's, again, not a bad book, but not one that we would recommend you grab first.
But, take a look at what some of these people have done. Who are these people?
Well, Mickey Cloonan's one of the main folks in there, and I'm blanking on the other names here, but great, talented folks.
Yeah, and like I said, they're, great comic, but just, well, not even great, but it's pretty good comic, but it's... Don't pick it up.
Yeah, I still liked it, but you can see we're going to disagree, but not disagreeing that much on it because it's not one you need for continuity.
And my only one complaint about the entire issue, other than that it's not necessary with the greater plot lines of either series, is that when you have a character with a very distinguishing characteristic, like say lamb chop sideburns, when you zoom in on that as part of a mysterious person that's fighting these Joker zombies, you're not going to get a lot of surprise when you reveal at the last page, it was the guy with the lamb chop sideburns? Oh my gosh. No. I mean, that'd be like zooming in on Alfred's mustache and then expecting us to be surprised that it's like Alfred.
Or seeing silhouetted bat ears and then being surprised it's Batman.
You're not gonna find the surprise here. And so I feel like they could have hid that reveal a little bit better. Like just focused on the eyes or what something like that.
But still,
And you know what the worst part is? They're going to go through this entire reveal again in the main series.
They may.
They're probably going to because I just think that
still it's one of those things where if you like the entertainment of the story itself, it's worth reading it for that. But it's not necessary if you're really wanting to keep up with an overall storyline because this really is, in every sense of the word, a one shot.
And it's just fluff.
Now. Again, let's go on to another book.
And not even fluff that warrants its own money. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm still not sad that I bought it, but...
if I'd known then what I know now, I wouldn't have read it.
This is one of those where if you're short on money, you're having to choose which books to buy. This would not be the one that you would absolutely have to buy to keep up with how things are going.
Even if I had money to spare, I'd be like, I'm saving my money for the next issue. And...
we are one to catch the next issue of Gotham Academy because we love the series.
And that's why I went in the first place. Gotham Academy, that's a good enough name to get me in. I don't give two craps about Endgame.
But let's go on to Harley Quinn number 16.
I mean, not that it's a bad. I'm saying Endgame is bad. I haven't even read it, but I'm just saying is just that having not read it, I did not care one bit about Endgame.
And I'm reading Endgame, although this really didn't do anything to further the Endgame storyline.
I figured.
Yeah. Harley Quinn 16. It's a transitional issue too.
It's an issue that is entirely drumroll, and as opposed to the comic from Gotham Academy / Endgame. I would recommend you buy this. Not just because that they're going to reference stuff and that they introduce new characters that they've started to develop a little bit, and that they started to develop previous characters a little bit more, like Eggy, I still can't get used to that as a real character name. I do think that it's the only weakness of this issue is that it's drumroll, and that I'm excited for the next issue. And that it developed the not Oracle coach, and that introduces more Harleys that are going to be in the new Harley team.
The gang of Harleys, which is going to be pretty cool.
Harley Inc.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. You see all the tryouts for the gang of Harleys, and there's a lot of pop culture reference, a lot of inside jokes.
And
there.
there's just no tension. There's no tension whatsoever.
The one character is an obvious ripoff of Oracle, but it's well done. But yeah, it's done with sort of the wackiness and insanity of a Harley Quinn book, and you get the team at the end that's going to be the gang of Harleys.
And it was good, and it was pleasant to read, but it just wasn't super exciting. I'm excited in and of itself. I'm excited for what's coming up because it's doing good to build up the excitement for what's coming up.
Yeah.
But it's just not. I'm not at the next issue yet. I'm still at this issue.
We're going to have to wait for June for the next issue. Now, this was hilarious. There was a lot of jokes all the way through, which you expect from a Harley title.
Yeah.
And it was well done for what it was. But if you're
just transitional.
Calling it drum roll. In other words, everything about this issue was a build up for one thing, and that one thing was to establish the gang of Harleys.
I'm calling them Harley Inc.
Okay, but I think it's going to be pretty cool once we get this thing rolling, and it gives us something to look forward to in June. When we not only get a Harley title, we get a Harley and Power Girl miniseries.
They tease that a little bit in this issue, and I like that. And I think my favorite part of this issue, hands down, was the letterer page.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
You'll have to check that page out, but the letterer has his say because he's feeling
really
overworked.
And I think it really did well because almost no one pays attention to the letterer. I mean, that's one of the that's like a very subtle thing that you can screw up, and that's actually one of my main issues with the Secret Six.
Was the lettering?
With Gail Simone's
because
the speech bubbles, the word balloons were in odd places, and it made it hard to follow some of the action. And that's one of the things that you find with like. Usagi Yojimbo, where the guy did all of his own like lettering and his own layouts of the panels, and everything was very well plotted out. Where you knew like you go from here to here to here, or if there was something like something different, there was a purpose to it. And honestly, when reading the Steven Universe comics, that was my biggest my one complaint was like. Where was the letterer in all of this? I felt like there was no letterer or anybody checking out the how it's plotted out.
But the letterer page in Harley,
it
was a bit of awesomeness.
And it was really good, and I liked it. And even though that it really shows the amount of work that goes into an often overlooked station.
Book,
and I think that was just kind of nice. That was nice.
It was. So anyhow, that's what's coming up.
It wasn't really funny. It was just nice.
It was nice. Now, all this to build up to have the gang of Harleys, and really they couldn't progress it much farther than that because we don't see them again until June. Which brings me to the...
I hate reset buttons.
Well, and that's about what we're going to have.
Not that it can't be like where the crises can't be interesting in and of themselves if you take them as their own selves.
Right.
But I don't like reset buttons because of this. Because we're always given this tension of who's what's going to happen? Everything's going to die, and then we're like, okay, we know everybody's going to die. Who's going now? Because we know that what happens afterwards is the new continuity where we build everything off of, and I'm just, call me jaded, but I just want to skip it. I just want to go, okay, Brainiac kills everybody that doesn't want to be in the next continuity. Okay, Golden Age, you exist until you're killed off, and you will never exist again until we need you for the next reset button where you temporarily exist, and then we kill you off.
The difference here, as opposed to some of the other Crisis things, is most of the Crisis things have lasted for a large number of months. Like the original Crisis on Infinite Earth was a 12-issue series. And the reason that that's important is if you follow Diamond Comic Distributors and their preview books, you're always previewing 3 months ahead. Well, right now, we already have the solicits for the June books. And so there's some
Spoiler alert!
So there's some things you already know.
And I feel that's a little odd. I mean, if I were doing this, granted, I understand with the format and the way things work, because you explained this to me off camera, that they have to do this, but it feels... It doesn't feel right.
Things away.
It's like going, well, on the next episode of Flash, Thawne is going to do something evil. Oh, and by the way, in the next season of Flash, Thawne's a good guy now, and they're fighting the Death Flash.
Well, and none of that's actually happened, but you get the point. It's a good point.
I'm just illustrating my point.
Right. Now, the things...
better point. It's like watching, on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, Goku and Vegeta have it out for the fate of the Earth, and then you see a commercial for, the Frieza saga, where Vegeta and Goku are both fighting Frieza, or at least, at different points in time, and you're like, wait, they're friends now?
Yeah. So... any rate, we do know some things. Now, the thing is, there are some vague points to even the solicits, but we know a few things. We know a few of the characters that'll survive. We do know that some of the costumes for the regular continuity will not, or will change a little bit, will not be the same as they come out.
Yeah, I've noticed something is that back in the 90s and early 2000s, everybody was really concerned with keeping things in a very, very strict house style. And in that Superman always looks like this. Wonder Woman always looks like this, and it was a big deal when she had short hair for 3 weeks, and now DC can't seem to decide on how they want their characters to look.
Actually, that's sort of a good thing.
It's not a complaint. It's just I'm just making an observation here. Actually, that they seem to be changing looks every few.
I'm sort of glad to see that, because here's what happened when the New 52 hit. And for those of you who've been reading from the beginning of the New 52, you know that when they hit that, there was a house style. Jim Lee designed a lot of these characters' costumes, or other folks working with Jim Lee designed them, and everybody had to be the same, and all the storylines had to be very similar, and there was a lot of talk about the grimdark DC universe. We even had a joke video that I put out a long time ago that blamed the entire grimdark universe on Batman.
Kind of true.
And so...
but to be fair, Spider-Man shares some of the blame.
But, yeah, well, in a way. I guess I'm trying to copy Marvel there, But here's the thing. They found out with Harley Quinn and a few other books that they could be more lighthearted and could have a different style and appeal to a large audience.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the outfits.
But what they're doing now is with this reset with Convergence, it looks like what we're going to come out with is a few books that are the main continuity, continue whatever they do from that point forward. And then some other books that will be in a different style, a different storytelling, a different art style. And I'm glad to see a little more diversity of storytelling, as well as some diversity in characters as well. But here's what
I just don't like. I just find it a little strange that every costume change is a do or die thing. That they don't that either their previous costume is destroyed or they have to get rid of it somehow. Like in the recent Batman movies, where it's in between movies, this armor is too is too ablative and I can't move in it. I need something I can move in. And then you never see that. And
you wonder at what point he decided I need bat nibbles.
But that's going even further back. But I'm just talking about when you talk about the Dark Knight Returns, and the third one.
Yeah.
It's just that you always find that costume changes are a very final thing every time it's done. With the recent, Superman lost his super armor and now has to wear the super clothes.
And that's going to change after Convergence.
And it's always like, doesn't anybody ever keep like a closet? Like, you think that Batman would at least have like, Batman keeps all of his partner's outfits and a copy of his own outfit, but he never keeps copies of his old outfits in case he needs to go back to an old idea.
And actually, if you go back to the Silver Age,
unless it's the Robo Batman, which he keeps around.
And I'm going to go on one last tangent, come back to Convergence Zero, but in the Silver Age, Superman used to have a closet full of Superman uniforms.
Yeah, but like there was never, but it was the same uniform. You couldn't, couldn't Superman have a closet where it's like the armor Superman, the clothing Superman, space Superman, blue Superman, silver Superman, the Eradicator, cyborg Superman.
But let's talk a little bit about Convergence Zero. For the folks who read the Superman Doomed storyline, you know that he took Brainiac into this sort of nothingness and came back out by himself with a beard.
And now there's new Mega Mans, and Zero has been brought back to fight these other Mega Mans.
But Convergence Zero tells what happened during that blank time period. It showed him going to the Blood Moon and meeting up with the living embodiment of that planet, which is a sentient planet, Telos. And so what you see here is
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Okay, come on. With the multiversal Brainiac, what you find is that every incarnation of Brainiac we've seen over the years, including they even included the one from my childhood, which was the green skin and the pink shirt and the shorts.
I grew up with blue skin, purple suit, silver and silver things from the Superman the animated series.
They had him. They had the metallic version of him. They had every version of Brainiac you can think of.
Did they have future Brainiac?
If you're Brainiac 5, no, but that's different Brainiac.
Well, then why doesn't Brainiac 5 know anything that happens with like his main unit from his past?
That's because every Brainiac we've ever seen is merely a small extension of this multiversal
Brainiac.
But
he's from the future.
From one future timeline, not all of them. And that's the thing, is that there's all these different universes, all these different timelines.
And you think okay, so where are their monitors? Where are the monitors in all this? You think the monitors would be like, okay, we need to gang up on this guy.
Well, now you got to remember, though, one of the earlier Final Crises brought all the monitors down to one last monitor, and even he went sort of insane.
Okay, where's the Anti-Monitor? Anti-Monitor has to have a stake in this.
Or Uncle Monitor. Now, anyhow, Anti-Monitor is still around, but apparently is not as big a bad guy as this multiversal Brainiac.
Okay, so why is it he... Okay, but you think he'd have a vested interest? Amazo.
We'll find out.
Amazo's invincible and literally copies everything he sees.
Let me get back to what's in a Convergence Zero, because we can debate this over the next 2 months. But anyhow, it shows him...
Mixlic-Piddlic.
We'll talk more. Anyhow, they go through all the different Brainiacs and sort of point out that in every continuity that it's always come down to Superman versus Brainiac. And they even show you...
Brainiac's always been a Superman villain. Unless it's been a Justice League thing. Unless it's been Justice League, in which it's the Justice League versus Brainiac. But Brainiac's been primary Superman.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's all I'm saying.
Well, you're right there. And it even had a great 2-page splash showing all the different deaths of Superman over the years, including, of course, the one with Doomsday.
And I never take a Superman death seriously. It's like seeing Goku die. You know he's coming back.
True. But at any rate...
Actually, it's like seeing a Sailor Scout die. You know they're coming back because of the crystal.
Well, even Convergence Zero is a transitional piece. But what it does, it sets up the basis for this. It sets up one interesting point. There's a city for every continuity that's ever existed, except there's not a city there for the New 52. Which means whatever comes out of it will be slightly changed. Now, what this does is the reset button. It allows them to tweak the New 52 because there are some things that have worked really well. There are some things that have sold a lot of books, and there's some things that people have complained about. So it gives them a chance within this to make some slight changes to do something better.
And here's a cheaper solution, DC, if you ever want to use it. Just announce that you're going to change crap, and then you don't have to spend like all this money and all this time on like this reset arc.
But why would they do that when they can drain our wallets over the next 2 months with 42 tie-in series as well as the main series?
And this annoys me more than the actual thing itself, is that there are several tie-ins where it's like where it's 1/42nd of the story, and I'm like, can't I just buy the entire... No, you have to buy this part of the story. Oh, well, I like the Green Lantern. I'm going to buy his story. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not going to know what's going on because you needed to buy 5 other comics.
Now, this one, at least it won't be quite that bad. You will have the main Convergence books.
Yeah.
But You won't have to buy all of the tie-ins, because what you're going to have are some arcs there where you can choose what you want to see, and you'll still not miss out on too much.
I guess. I just remember reading some of your copies that you'd leave around the house where you would only buy a few of the tie-ins, and the tie-ins would reference other tie-ins that you never bought.
They've learned from those lessons, though, because this started really with Crisis on Infinite Earth and all the tie-ins that happened with it, and then Legends and 0 Hour and all the other Crisis.
Asterisk, you need to read all the crap that he just listed.
Now, the thing is here. I know, but now the thing is, they've learned from that, and they've set it up where you really don't have to grab all of them. And I will tell you, if you go to dccomics.com right now and search for Convergence 101, they have a really good article there that sort of gives new readers an understanding of the framework of the story, where you really don't have to go back and read 75 years of comics.
But you have to read another article, and I feel like that's already like a strike against it.
I still like the article. And
I mean, look, read it if you are new. But to me, I'm just like, why do I want to read all this other extra stuff? At least it's free.
That's free, and it's a good way to get yourself interested.
I would actually have to hate. I'll be honest. A point for them, I would actually hate to pay for like the anthology of crap you need to know so you understand what's going on.
So that article will give you a good framework if you want to catch up real quickly. But there will be some different weeks will be dedicated to different timelines, including like the pre-Flashpoint folks with Wally West and all the other folks from there. You'll go back into the old Golden Age heroes who have grown old and are sort of like in the Silver Age Earth 2 continuity, which I really loved growing up. You'll catch a little bit of everything from Red Sun to Red Rain to even Sugar and Spike is listed as being one of the universes.
Now, I've never heard of this. What's Sugar and Spike?
It's sort of a kid's book from back in the 60s.
Yeah, but that describes a lot of books in the 60s.
Well,
was it one of those like ones with the golden spines?
No. But it was a kid's comic that they did back in the 60s.
Those golden spine books were awesome.
Yeah, but anyhow, it's got a little bit of everything, including Captain Carrot. Now, some other things that'll be really neat about it is you'll get Swamp Thing written by the original writer, Len Wein, will be there, which will be really cool. You'll have a whole bunch of other books in there that'll be good. Dan Jurgens is writing some of the stories. It's going to be interesting. Now, I'm not going to buy every single book in Convergence, but I'm definitely going to buy the main Convergence titles and several of the others. I will be buying Speed Force.
And I'm not going to buy crap because I'm just going to read what he buys.
Yeah. I'll be buying Speed Force for sure because of Wally West being in it.
Right. Actually, I'm not even necessarily reading Convergence. It's sort of just to me like the points in whose line is it anyways. It doesn't matter.
I'm looking forward to see what comes out of it. And really, some of the big events have been done very well. Some have not. For example, Batman Eternal, which ended last week, was done the way a book should end, and it was really a good series all the way through.
Unlike Arkham Asylum.
Future's End
was that the name of that book? That newer book series where Batman's in his own mansion.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought I was like, wait, was that the video game?
Yeah, but now Future's End was okay. World's End for Earth 2 was a disappointment for me, but Batman Eternal was really great. Some things they do well, some things they don't. I'm still holding
Harley Quinn, and Gotham Academy
are great,
and Secret Six.
Absolutely,
and that's about it.
So we'll see what comes out of all this.
Oh, and the Steven Universe comics. I mean,
that's from Boom. We'll come back and
that's
talk
like
about
my one complaint with like how they format aside. They were actually really good. Like the cartoons. I just recently got into the series.
We're going to come back actually at some point with a different series of videos called Indie Island. So we'll come back and talk about Steven Universe before long, and you'll catch up to that. But if you aren't checking it out, that's from Boom and their Kaboom lineup. Go check it out.
Just go check out Steven Universe in general. It's a great series.
At any rate, for DC Corner, we're going to come back next week with the first full week of Convergence. We'll see what comes out. Hopefully it'll be good. And we'll keep checking in with you every week until then. We're also going to be a little bit late with our Comics Week in Review. It won't be tonight. We're trying to arrange when we're going to get this thing done. It'll either be Monday or Tuesday, but we will have it out this week. And also, later this month, quite a few of us will be at C2E2. So if you're going to be there in Chicago, look for us. We'll be wearing the T-shirts and having a great time and interviewing some pretty impressive names. We're already getting some things lined up, and we're looking forward to it. So until next time around, thanks for joining us on DC Corner.
Look for the TM's Dash label when you're at a convention or something.